Hey folks, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, in this brief video today, we are going to answer some frequently asked questions on my recently posted It's Fun to Go Alone, my top 10 solo RPGs. So coming in at number 1 here, we have, do solo RPGs exist? Now, this wasn't a question that was asked, but it's a question that I formulated based off of a comment saying that there are no such things as solo RPGs. And every once in a while, I get one of those comments on a video about solo RPGs. So let's set the record straight. Let's go back to kind of where it all began. And that is with the original, Dungeon Master's Guide here for Advanced D&D. 1979, written of course by Gary Gygax. And if we go to page 169 at the start of the appendices, and Appendix A is a random dungeon generator. And Appendix A has all kinds of information that you would need to roll up random dungeons. That is followed by a wilderness exploration generator with encounters with NPCs and monsters and different terrain and different points of interest. And then if we turn to the end of Appendix A on page 173, we get to this section here, Random Dungeon Generation for Solo Play. The random dungeon generation system is easily adaptable to solitary play. Locate the entrance to the dungeon and then select one of the random dungeon starting areas given there, locating it in the middle of the graph paper. And it goes on with a little bit more rules about how to run a dungeon crawl for yourself in AD&D solo. And then the following pages have all kinds of randomizers for randomizing monsters and encounters and treasure and different points of interest and different NPCs that you might meet, all kinds of different events to roll up for when you are in a city or a town. So even as far back as 1979, people were playing role-playing games solo. It even goes back further than that because I know there were solo rules for the various kinds of miniature tabletop war games that were being played before D&D. If we also take a look back on these bookshelves here, there are many, many hundreds of books that are dedicated to solo RPG play. So I think we've answered that question. Do solo RPGs exist? Yes, they do. Okay, the next question, question number 2 here. Why wasn't Ironsworn included? Because I don't like it. This is my top 10. These are the 10 games that I like the most. And I haven't actually played Ironsworn, but I have played Starforged. That's the science fiction brother. I have owned Ironsworn. I got them both together when I backed Starforged. And yeah, I don't like that game much. I like when those mechanisms are used in other games, those kinds of moves that are containers with the rule and the kind of narrative outcome, but I just did not really care for Starforged. As a matter of fact, I have a very detailed review that tells exactly why I don't like it. So that's why it's not in my top 10. I just felt like there's too much to keep track of, and I kept feeling like I was being led down a certain path where only one move was optional, that kind of thing. Yeah, just not really a game for me. Now, I don't dislike the game. It's very well made. It's just not something for me. And that's why Ironsworn was not included on the top 10. So just go watch my review for Starforged and you will learn a little bit. Some people, there's a lot of people in the comments for Starforged video that were like, oh, you just need to give it a chance. You need to do this. You need to do that. Some people have said, oh yeah, well, it's a game that you really need to be into creativity and imagination. So you must not like it because you don't have an imagination or something. Totally wild stuff. It's really weird when somebody doesn't like their favorite game and the kinds of coping that they do or the kinds of things that they try to convince you of. But yeah, this is my top 10. If you are making a top 10 list and you love Ironsworn and you love Starforged, put that on your own top 10, and hey, then it's a top 10 game. See, question number 3. Why wasn't 4 Against Darkness included? I got asked this one a lot, and it was very frustrating because I knew people would ask this. And so when I was developing my criteria, my rules for what I was considering to be allowed on my top 10 list of solo RPGs, I decided not to include games that were specifically focused more on just dungeon crawling. So games like 4 Against Darkness, Caernarfon, D100 Dungeon. I love those games. I've done a huge video over an hour long on tabletop analog dungeon crawls. And I talk very, very highly of these games. I've covered these games extensively. I have a huge playlist for 4 Against Darkness. And I knew people would ask that, so I made sure to specifically call out those games in the first minute and 38 seconds of the video. And still, people asked, why wasn't 4 Against Darkness included? And I even had people on other videos for 4 Against Darkness ask me why it wasn't on my top 10. And it was very frustrating because like I said, I mentioned exactly why in the first 1 minute and 38 seconds of the video. Come to find out from some of those people, they skip the introduction or they skip around in the videos. Stop skipping around in videos. Just watch the whole thing. You know, I don't spend 30 hours a week here just to make a video with lots of great information in it for people just to skip around and not listen to what I have to say, because a lot of times those questions are answered actually in the information given in the video. And so on the last, I need to apologize. On the last time somebody asked me this, I was just, okay, I'm so fed up with why. And I said, you got to watch the video. So I apologize if I lost my temper with some of you with that. But yeah, it's in the first minute and 38 seconds, guys. If like, I don't know, have our attention spans shrunk that much that we can't even focus for a minute and 38 seconds on something? That's crazy to me. So that's why 4 Against Darkness wasn't included. It's in the first minute and 38 seconds of that video. Now, here's a question that I got asked the most and I didn't answer. I didn't even think about it because it was just supposed to be a background, but apparently the map that I had on the table was the absolute star of the show. It's pretty much, I guess I should have just done a video on that map. But that is the map from a board game called League of Dungeoneers. I have a whole playlist devoted to that game. So if you want to check out League of Dungeoneers, it's basically another Warhammer Quest derivative. I would kind of put it in the same school as something like Shadows of Brimstone, but it's fantasy based. It's probably the closest thing we have to the original Warhammer Quest right now. So I just wanted to have something decorative in the background. And so that is the hex map that I use. That is the hex map for League of Dungeoneers. Specifically, I took out the neoprene matte version, not the cardboard version, because the cardboard version is buried under a stack of games and I couldn't easily get to it. So those were the main questions asked. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this short video. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.